Mel Kiper dropped a mock draft and, well, it doesn't make sense for the Jets. Hey, what's going on? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Before we get started today, just wanted to mention you can follow on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Also, please make sure to check out the Just Jets podcast. Conference championship weekend is coming, and you have the Bengals taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC. In the NFC, you got the 49ers and the Eagles. If you want to get in on the action, do some gambling on it, check it out. BUSR.com/Matt gives you a 150% match deposit bonus up to $2,500. You deposit the money, they're going to give you 150% on top of that. On BUSR, check out my link down below in the description. They are the official sportsbook of Matt O'Leary NY. So Mel Kiper put out a mock draft, and I don't know why we are still listening to Mel Kiper, but let's talk about it anyway. At pick number 13, he has the Jets going with wide receiver Jaxon Smith-Njigba to the New York Jets at pick number 13. That would be a lot of fun in theory, right? Like, let's forget all of our problems for a moment here if you're a New York Jets fan. The idea of Smith-Njigba with Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson, that's an exciting trio. My question is, who the hell is blocking, right? What is the plan at offensive line? Because I don't know how the Jets don't take an offensive lineman, specifically offensive tackle, with this pick. One of Paris Johnson, Peter Skoronski, or Broderick Jones are going to be there at pick number 13. You take whichever one is available. If multiple are available, you pick your favorite one and you go from there, because you have to figure out the offensive line. Yes, wide receiver is a sneaky need, but you don't need a first-round wide receiver. You need depth behind guys like Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, and hopefully, I would think you're cutting Corey Davis and replacing him with a free agent option, someone like Allen Lazard, who would be a little bit younger and frankly more effective than Corey Davis. He's a big wide receiver who is a really good blocker. Pick up Jacoby Myers, someone like that, a middle tier free agent right around that $9, $10, $11 million per year range to be wide receiver 3. And then if you want to say, okay, yeah, you need a wide receiver 4/5, depending on what your take is on Denzel Mims, you could do that in the draft, but that doesn't have to be in the first round. Especially, like, what is your alternative? You're going to be like, oh, Mekhi Becton, you haven't played in 2 years. Let's go with you at left tackle for our plan A. I don't think that's realistic. Max Mitchell had blood clots to end his season in 2022, and he's going to be the starting right tackle. Dwayne Brown at 40 years old is going to come back. You're going to rely on that as your big plan. You're not re-signing George Fant. He was hurt and pretty ineffective. It's pretty evident that the Jets need to improve that offensive line and put a premium resource on it. Plus, not to mention, the Jets have used a pick at the wide receiver position in the first 2 rounds each of the last 3 years. Denzel Mims in 2020, Elijah Moore in 2021, and then this past year in 2022 was Garrett Wilson. Love the Garrett Wilson pick, love the Elijah Moore pick, and really at the time loved the Denzel Mims pick, even though it seems like it hasn't really worked out 3 years into his career. But you're going to run it back and do it again with all the holes you have on the offensive line? That seems just like poor resource allocation. And, people say, well, you got to don't worry about need. Take the best player available. I guess, but that's also how you end up drafting interior defensive line. 5 times? How many times was it in the early 2010s for the New York Jets? They had Muhammad Wilkerson in 2011. Then you ended up with Sheldon Richardson in 2013, and then Leonard Williams in 2015, and then Quinnen Williams in 2019. That's 4 times from 2011 to 2019. And it was because it was the best player available, and you couldn't pass up on him. But it didn't work. You need to be able to fill your needs too. So I think you need a bit of a blend. It can't just be, we're going to put the blinders on and, take the best player available without any other context than that. And I'm not sure Jaxon Smith-Njigba would be the best player at that spot. If you're going to go another position besides offensive tackle, safety, Brian Branch, a linebacker, maybe. But I think with Robert Saleh's history, they'd probably wait on linebacker to day 2, maybe day 3 even. I don't know. I really don't see it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you want the Jets to draft Jaxon Smith-Njigba? Let me know. Sound off. I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.